Hi everyone, welcome to the new episode of Peter's English podcast. I decided before that I wanted to practice my speaking skills in English, and at first I wanted to tell you, hi, I'm Peter. I'm 33 years old. I'm from Slovakia. I like learning English. I want to speak English fluently because learning English is my hobby. Have a I want to have a lot of friends. I want to visit foreign countries. I want to have a girlfriend. I want to live without language barriers. Uh, I live in. I'm from Slovakia. I'm single. I don't have any girlfriend. I'm single, like this. But don't worry. It will be so easy with me. I don't trust any woman uh, except my mom and my English teacher. Hi, my English teacher. We can continue. I live in a little village near Prešov. My biggest hobby is learning English. I like watching movies and series in English. I like listening to my favorite English podcasts and audiobooks in English. I like creating my own Peter's English podcast. I decided to create my own Peter's English podcast because I wanted to practice my speaking skills in English. I wanted to create a big community of Peter's English podcast. In that I want to have a lot of friends. I want to speak with women because I like women. I'm normal man, and now we can continue. I like history. And that's all. I think I decided to editing my content because in this time until this time I was prepared every time because my fairy tales in English were uh, well were good, but I was prepared, and I decided to best option how to improve my speaking skills in English, and how to defeat my shyness because I'm very shy. Yes, that's true, but I wanted to to win this big battle with my shyness. Oh, and the best way how to defeat your shyness, you have to practice and practice. You have to practice your speaking skills, and if you want to practice your speaking skills in foreign language, you have to practice your speaking skills in this language. I want to practice my speaking skills in English, and every episode it will be rambling. I want to and improvising. I want to practice my improvising in English because I want to speak English fluently. I want to defeat my shyness, and I want to be successful in my life, and I want to be a big podcaster, and I want to speak English fluently, of course. And we can continue. I want to tell you everyone why is English language important in your life. English is a world language that uses a lot of people in the world. You can, thanks to English, you can speak with everyone in the world. You can visit a lot of countries in the world. You can have a lot of friends from every country. You can have a girlfriend from other country, or boyfriend if you are a lady. you can be successful in your life, because every company wanted workers who speak English fluently. In this time, you have to speak 2 languages or more, or you have to, or you can be a polyglot, but the first time you have to speak English fluently, because it's a world language. Then the best, then 90% of internet is in English. A lot of very good and interesting content is 90% in English, and you can and at first I want to start how to import how to learn English. At first, you have a lot of topics in English that you have to practice. You have to practice your listening, your speaking, your reading, your listening, your English vocabulary, and I think that's all. And how to do it? The best way how to do it is you have to listen. You have to listen, and listen. And there are a lot of very good English podcasts that are very funny, very interesting, and there are a lot of topics that this English podcast use, and that's very good. My favorite English podcasts are three. At first, I want to recommend you Luke's English podcast. Why Luke's English podcast? Luke's English podcast is the best English podcast in the world. You can listen to real British English. The owner is an English teacher, Luke Thompson from London. He is from the UK. He is an English teacher, and he teaches British English. His podcast uses real British English. In that, Luke is rambling in English. Then he speak about different topics with his friends or other English teachers. He is very funny. He is a stand-up comedian. He's very funny. He's very good. I like his English podcast a lot. I recommend you to listen, because Luke's English podcast is the same as BBC. I think it's my opinion, of course, but I like listening Luke's English podcast. The second is Speak English podcast now with Georgiana. Georgiana is an American English teacher. She is very beautiful and attractive, but she is very good, and her podcast uses American English. Her podcast is for beginners and other people that they can speak English better. Her podcast is about American English, about the life and topics from the United States. She's very good. Her podcast isn't very long. And yes, of course, I forgot Luke's English podcast is 1 hour, and I forgot to tell you that yes, Luke is rambling a lot, but if you listen to his rambling, you can listen to real English. you can listen to real British English that he is spoken in streets in the UK, and that's a very good tip. I recommend you to listen to Luke's rambling because he's very good. He very good. And the third, my favorite English podcast is All Is English. There are a team of English teachers. There are the English teachers from this podcast are women. You can listen to talking real. These English teachers are do talking in that they use this American English. They are talking about everything, but they are very funny. They are very funny, and you can listen to real American English, and the podcast is about learning English. Yes, of course, my favorite podcasts are for learners of English. Luke's English podcast is mainly for learners of English. Big English podcast now is mainly for learners of English, but there are a lot of other very good English podcasts for every topic. I've discovered very good English podcasts for people who loves science and technology, and I discovered English podcast for people who like about how to improve yourself. There are a lot of very good English podcasts, and how to listen to it. You can download from this site, Luke's English Podcast, or Speak English Podcast now with Georgiana has. They have his own websites in that you can download and listen. But Luke's every episode has text transcript or his team. No, it isn't his team. It's Labsters, his fans created a team in their doing transcripts, and there are a lot of transcripts. Then thanks to it, you can listen and read in the same time. Now I want to continue with who I forgotten. Yes, I was discussing about listening. Yes, of course, the best way how to listen to Luke's English podcast and other good English podcasts is you can use podcast app, or every Android or iOS has his own podcast app. I use Android, and there are a lot of very good podcast app. Thanks to it, you can listen and download your favorite episode of your favorite English podcast. And I recommend you to do it because every app can remember the time when in that you had stopped it. You had stopped it in the past, and then you can continue in the same. You can continue without looking where you were in this episode, and that's very good. And of course you can practice your listening skills thanks to watching movies and series in English. Yes, of course, you have to watch movies in English only with English subtitles at the first step. Why? Because when you using your English, I'm sorry, not your English. When you use English language in this movie and you listen to subtitles in your language, you cannot learn English. You have to use movie in English with English subtitles at first. Yes, of course, you can write these sentences in English, and but the best option how to practice your listening is watching movies and series in English without any subtitles. You can trust me. You can watch English movies and series in English because I'm watching movies and series English since I've been watching movies and series in English since 2022. It's a very good way how to improve your listening skills in English. And the next topic, and the next very good, very important thing is practicing your reading skills. You can listen. You can find English books on your on every phone with Android or Apple, and I can recommend you very good books, online bookstores that have audiobooks. They have a lot of audiobooks in English, and you can listen to your favorite English book as audiobook. I really recommend it. I listen to my favorite audiobook in English, and yes, of course, I've forgotten to tell you that I've been learning English since August 2022. At first, I've started to learn English vocabulary, but I discovered that I don't speak English, and and then I've been watching movies and series in English, and I've been listening to my favorite English podcast since August 2023, and then I've discovered that only listening English podcasts and watching movies and series in English with English subtitles or without English subtitles can help you improving your speaking skills in English, and it really works. You don't need to go somewhere. No. You can learn English at home because you can use internet. Internet is the best way to learn English. And then the next very important thing is practicing your English vocabulary. This is the very important way, but you have to learn English words that are recommended for you, and then you have to use in every conversation. You have to find you can find English vocabulary in books, in English podcasts, and you can add to very good flash applications that are on Android or iOS. You have to learn English words in context, in the English sentences. You cannot write one word and you don't know where this word is. That's very stupid. No. You have to learning English. You have to learn English vocabulary in context and in English sentences. And the most important way how to the next way you have to practice your and yes, of course, you have to practice your writing. Writing is very important too. You can write your own fairy tales. Thanks to you can practice your fantasy, your creativity. Then you can write your diary. In that you can write what you feel in that day, what happened in your life. I've been writing my diary since August 2023, I think, and it works really. Uh, then you can. The next topic is speaking. Speaking is the most important way because you have to practice your speaking skills, and you have to practice speaking skills because if when you but you because uh, when you didn't uh, when you don't practice your speaking skills in English, you never will be speaking skills. You never be, uh, you never you cannot speak English. You have to practice. It's very important thing in your life, and how to practice. I have my own English teacher. Hi, my English teacher. He is the. You have to hire your own English teacher because you have to know uh, uh, when you do mistakes, and thanks to your English teacher can help you. You can speak with your English teacher, and there are a lot of English teachers in Slovakia, or a lot of English teachers are in the very good website. I can recommend you. In there you can speak with. In that side you can find your own English teacher from abroad, and you can practice your English for money. But the but you can but you have to the next way you can find your English partner for free. There are a lot of good apps in that you can chat online, but the best way how to practice your speaking skills in English is the method self-talk. Why self-talk? Because you have to think in English. You have to practice your English skills with yourself. You have to practice your speaking skills in English with yourself every day, and in every time. Um, you can speak with yourself about everything. You have to think as Englishman, and you have to speak with yourself about every topic, and it will be fun. And you can really improve your speaking skills. Then, thanks to Luke's English podcast, Luke recommended to create your own English podcast. In that, you can practice your speaking skills in English, and you can practice your speaking skills in this podcast. You can defeat your shyness, and you're shining. I'm sorry, people, and I really recommend to you to create your own English podcast. In that you can speaking about every topic, and and of course you have to improvising and practicing, and of course the next is ChatGPT. You can chat with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT can help you, and you can ask ChatGPT about every topic. ChatGPT can be your English teacher. Yes, of course, is an virtual intelligence, but it's very good. I think I recommend you to use the ChatGPT. I chat with ChatGPT about everything, and thanks to ChatGPT, I discovered a lot of good English podcasts. I've created my own Facebook fan page. I've discovered very good free hosting service for my English podcast. I can ask ChatGPT about every topic, and ChatGPT can find me the website with this service. I really recommend you, and it is really good. And how can I continue? It will be fun. I've been improvising for 25 minutes. I'm very good, and I think I can. Oh, it's very good. And I was telling you about everything. I think I and of course, and if you are from foreign countries and you can create your English podcast in that you can teach foreign people your language. And I think there are a lot of good English podcasts in your language, and you can and you can use it because you can teach people your language. You can teach people about your culture, about your country, about your folklore songs, about everything, and you can be successful. I really recommend you to do it. And what now? Yes, of course, I can recommend you. And yes, of course, I've discovered I forgotten that Luke's English podcast is really good. English teacher and person. Hi, Luke. Thank you for your thank you that you are created your own Luke's English podcast. You are very good. Because we found you. I don't know what is British English. and and yes, of course, I want to tell thank you people who you are do your own English podcast, because it's very important. Your work is very important. I want, yes, of course, I can repeat. You have to practice your listening, your writing, your reading, your speaking, and English vocabulary. And yes, of course, you have to trust yourself that you can do it, because you can do it. It's all you have an internet. You can create a English place in your home. We found uh, going some we found going somewhere, and I truly recommend to you to do it, because you can do it. It's only about but it's about only about yourself, because you have to trust you that you can do it, and you can do it. You don't need any talent to learn English languages. Like not English languages, but accents. You can speak English fluently, but you have to trust yourself, people. You have to trust yourself. You can, yes, of course. Please tell me about my fairy tales in English. I'm sorry for my bad language. In these episodes, I'm still practicing, and I discovered that the best way how to create, how to don't be shy, how to be successful in my life. I have to practice my speaking skills. I had to be showman, and in this case you can be successful. And I discovered that I like watching on myself. It's a very good idea, because it's a very good to watch on yourself, because you can do everything. And what I can do about you? Yes, yes, of course, I can continue. That was about learning English. I can recommend you. What I can recommend you? Yes, of course, there are you can watch very good English, uh, about you can find very good English content on the internet. There are a lot of English content, and in Slovakia, or in Czech, or in Czechia, there are English teachers. Ah, dear people, that's all. That's all. My uh, my headphones are that I'm better than my headphones. This was very good. Bye bye. Please follow me. Please, you can. Yes, of course, I can continue. I can continue or not. Can. It's new? Yes, it's new. Ah, stupid headphones. No, no, no. No, no, no. No, no, no. And dear people, please follow me. Please tell me your opinions about learning English, about my fairy tales, about my podcast, and I want to tell you bye bye.